Hello, everybody. How are you? This is Christy,
And Amanda,
and we are
the FibroPreneurs.
FibroPreneurs. We were not too synchronized in that, but that's okay. Anyway, so Amanda, can you see me okay? I can
Yes,
see
I can
you.
see you fine. I just want to let everybody know if my head moves away from looking at the camera, it's because I'm doing some other stuff, some techie stuff here. So I'll just keep lifting my head up and down. Just want to say I'm not being rude.
Okay. So, folks, we're so sorry for being a little bit late today. We had some technical difficulties that we had to work out. Christy had a little problem with her camera, and we just got that straightened out. So sometimes that's the way it is. Hey, we're not professional media people, you know? So anyway, we're excited to be here, and we have some great information for you. Fibromyalgia it's not just a process, it's a journey. And it's not a life sentence. It's just something that, you have to deal with. You live on, you get it, you live on with it. And once you find out how to deal with it, it's just there.
I think for some people, at the beginning, it feels like they've just been given a life sentence until they start to understand it and start to go through that journey and that process.
I agree. I know I felt that way too, because there were so many things that were out of balance with me. And that's the part that we don't get educated about when we see our doctors, because fibromyalgia, as we talk about so many times, you and I, Amanda, is that, there's a couple components, is that there's the trauma component that is both emotional and physical. But we can be really resilient to trauma. As kids, we receive trauma quite a bit. We're riding our bike, we fall off our bike, we skin our knees, and we get terrible cuts and bruises and scrapes, and we jump up and we run around, and it doesn't give us nightmares at night. We just wake up the next day and we want to go out and do it again. And then there are things that trouble us deeply, that may not cause cuts, scrapes and bruises and things like that. And those are the things that have a tendency to work on our inner beings and then, affect us later on in life. And so it's a both an emotional and physical trauma. And it does come and hit you at certain times. And usually when there's something that's out of balance, when it raises its ugly head, and usually a traumatic event brings it out. And then once we have figured it out, if we're lucky to figure it out and find out what those imbalances are, the symptoms of it lessens. It never goes away. It's something that's always inside of us. And we might be able to put it in remission for a long time, but it could come back if we don't respect the balance that we've found and we've achieved, because it could come back and raise its ugly head again. And I like to call that the reminder that we're not taking care of ourselves.
Mm-hmm. Yes, we've had a good few chats about this over the last little while, haven't we, darling?
Yeah. That one, I'm just from a little, just because I've got a few more years on you for that one, I've had trial and error on that one.
I like to call this when you have your moments like that, when I've been pushing myself, the mummy Chrissy comes out.
Yeah, we've done one of these a couple times.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's okay, because that's what friends are for. And when you love somebody, you care enough to tell them the truth because you really want the best for them, right?
Mm-hmm. Hey Jane, how you doing? Nice to have you here.
Hey, how are you? Thank you for being here. That's a very nice thing to say. So great to have you here, Jen. So here's a few things that we're going to talk about today. So we're going to talk about how to make a steamy hot pack that stays hot. I mean, look at those cold days when you're feeling like crap and you're just all achy and nasty, and you just want to curl up with something warm, and that's not your warm, honey, okay? You want a warm hot pack, and you don't want something that's going to go get hot and then cool off 10 minutes later, right? Who wants to be running around warming that thing up every 10 minutes? So we have a solution for that. Want to talk about sleep for your health. It's so important for fibromyalgia, how to improve your sleep habits. How to use Click Converter to download MP3s. We've got a little marketing advice here today. And Amanda, being the techno wizard, she's going to talk about that. How to be wise with your money, how to avoid the get-rich-quick business schemes that are out there.
There's lots of them.
Oh, yeah, lots of them. We also want to talk about the beware of the phony baloney offering, those that are offering courses to cure your fibromyalgia. You don't need to pay money to cure your fibromyalgia. You should invest in yourself to cure or you're not going to cure it, but to put your fibromyalgia into remission. You don't need to pay a guru to make that go away. Maybe a naturopath, a healer might be someplace to make that investment, but not some guru type. We'll talk about that. Stress and why you must prevent it, and the 4 body types. That one I slipped in there this morning, Amanda. We were talking about that yesterday, and I just finished up the last bit of it, so I slipped that in under the radar because I think that will finish out that topic that we talked about yesterday. What's intermittent fasting and how to do it, and that will tie in with the 4 body types. This is really good stuff for those with fibro. And the fibro fog moment of the week, oh my gosh. Not only do we have one, we have several, right?
Yeah, I have a couple of real epic ones.
And then lastly, we both had the privilege of listening into our fearless leader, Brian Finale, and he brought on Jesse Jameson, a fabulous ads agency owner who runs an ads agency and a Facebook expert. And he handles the marketing for a lot of other marketing concerns. And he came out and trained us on a new, I'm going to say a new tool that Facebook itself has backed, and it is a game changer for Facebook. So we're going to talk a little bit about that.
It's for your website and stuff as well. It's just,
oh yeah, it's very cool.
I'm going to have to watch the training over and over again because he mentioned that. I'm going to have to.
Yeah, we have a couple solutions on how you guys can go ahead and see that training again too. So anyway, so shall we go ahead and get started here?
Yes.
It's frozen. I don't know why, but again, I am so, oh, okay. There you go.
Jen's lovely. I think Jen's in the US as well. She's really lovely. She's been a friend of mine's now for about a year. She's lovely.
That's great. Good to have you here, Jen. And I hope your screen becomes unfrozen. You may just have to refresh the screen, but I'm sure you know that. Okay, so how about if I take this hot steamy pack? I was sharing that with you the other day. Well, I learned about this hot steamy pack idea while I was in the hospital. And, you know, nurses are very, very busy. And rather than having to run in and out of the room to warm up a heat pack every 10 minutes, the nurse taught me a very cool idea. It saved her a lot of time too. So it's very simple, and we have all of these materials in our home. So what you're going to need, and it depends on the size of the body part that you want to warm up. What I was having problems was the small of my back. So she got a large body towel, okay? If you have a neck problem, maybe a hand towel would work for something like this. But either case, go get that towel, run it underneath the faucet, get it wet, and wring it out, okay? You don't want it, you know, where it's dripping, but wring it out fairly well, but to where it still has a fair amount of liquid in it, not to where it's dripping, but wring it out to where it might have a few drops left in it, okay? And then you're going to throw it in the microwave for about 3 minutes. And it's going to come out steamy hot. Be careful when you pull the, hi Paul, happy Friday to you too. Thanks for joining us. So when you pull that towel out of the microwave, it's going to be very hot, so be careful. You might have to use some hot, you know, pot holders. Pull that out, and you're going to have a plastic bag. Take a little kitchen garbage bag or something like that, and pull that out. Put that hot towel in that, you know, lay it flat, put it in the bag, and then roll the bag over it so that it's actually closed, because you don't want that hot, steamy air to come out of the bag. Then the last step is you're going to take a pillowcase, and you're going to take the towel that's in that little thin kitchen garbage bag, stuff it inside the pillowcase, and you're going to apply it to the part of your body that hurts. And I guarantee you that's going to last for probably a good, I'm going to say 45 minutes or so. And it is really good, hot, steamy, wonderfulness. You know, sometimes you just can't get that hot steam, and that's what you really need to relieve some body aches. And 45 minutes might be all that you need. And then you can go ahead and follow it up with ice, you know, especially if you have some recent trauma, you know, when they say put hot and then cold, you know, steamy pack and an ice pack, that is a great combination for that. So I hope that you get some value from it. We do that all the time, especially during the winter time.
Well, the reason why I think this is so great is because for quite some time I was looking for a wheat pack, heat pack to help, because I don't take any pain relief anymore, so I need to find things that help. Now, a lot of people use the cold creams and stuff. I have to use the hot stuff. But I was looking for a wheat pack, and I couldn't find one without lavender. Now, lavender makes me really ill, and with the wheat packs and the lavender, the smell just doesn't go away from you, so you end up walking around feeling sick all day. So this is a really, really good thing, because one without the lavender is very hard to come across.
Yeah. And that's a good point, Amanda, because you can add a drop or two of essential oils if that's something that you like. Sure, why not?
Oh, that's good thinking. Good thinking. Yeah.
Especially if you have a cold, maybe some eucalyptus or peppermint oil would be very good for that. Especially,
I live with my bottle of eucalyptus.
What's that?
I live with my bottle of eucalyptus. It comes everywhere with me. It's sat at the side of the bed as well. It's in the bathroom. It's everywhere.
Hi, Michelle.
Hi, everybody. If I'm not saying hello straight away, or if either of us are not saying hello straight away, it's because we're trying not to interrupt over each other. So please bear with us. Okay,
I just came up with another topic for next week, so we'll talk about that later. Something you just mentioned, Amanda, so that's great. Okay, so does anybody have any questions on how to do the hot, steamy hot packs? And if there's no questions there, have a good time.
See you.
All right.
Bye.
That's my hubby. He's going out fishing. What a life, huh?
Yeah.
You believe in a frog jumped on his fishing line the other day. That's something this man's fished his entire life, and he threw his line in the water. A huge toad jumped, or bullfrog, and he came home. He has a picture, and the thing was, I'm going to say, this big. So it kind of, he goes, "What the hell do I do with this thing?" So, and of course, I always tell them you have to take pictures because fishermen lie. So you got to show proof of what's happened. So anyway, so let's talk about sleep for health and how to help that. You know, Amanda and I have been talking a lot about sleep, and I've been kind of giving her a hard time because, you know, she's got so much more energy than this old girl here. And sleep is so, I've learned how much sleep is so important. And, you know, and I'm dealing with, my folks are elderly now, and one of the things that I get to do and have the privilege of doing is helping them transition to another lifetime or another dimension in life. And this business of being on the internet allows me to do that. So I get to manage my physical problems. I get to build a business online, and that allows me to have the time to take care of my parents. And one of the things that my folks deal with is sleep apnea. And they've had it almost all their life. And ironically, I have had it too. And I'm so grateful to their doctor for telling me about a year ago. Hi, Mary. Thank you for being here. Anyway, about a little over a year ago, their doctor said to me that, you know, they had stopped breathing about 40 times an hour based on their test. And he says, "Did you know that this runs in the family? You should be tested out too." And he goes, "If you snore, you probably have this problem also. It's not always related to weight or anything like that. You could be skinny as a rail and snore like a freight train." So I went ahead and got tested, and long story short, I too stopped breathing over 40 times an hour. Well, here's the thing that is really scary, folks. Sleep apnea is the #1 cause of dementia. And dementia is not a fun thing, folks. To watch it happen, anybody...
That was my mum with that cheek, by the way. Just wanted to expose her cheekiness.
Anyway, dementia is just, I just think it's just a horrible thing for some people to have to go through. If anybody has had to watch a loved one go through dementia, if it could be preventable because of correcting sleep, it's something that I wanted to bring to your attention, and realize that if it is because of sleep apnea, if you snore, if a loved one is telling you that it sounds like you're gasping or gurgling, or you're thrashing in bed, or you have nightmares, or all of a sudden you're breathing heavily and then there's no breath coming out of you, and then all of a sudden, you probably have sleep apnea, okay? And so it's a very simple remedy, and I think the cure nowadays is kind of archaic, and the science is so new. It's going to get better and better. So for me, folks, what has happened, it's going to be a year in July since I started sleep apnea therapy. And for me, it was like a duck taking the water. I got my second mask. As soon as I got my second mask, I took to it. I love my machine. I sleep like a rock every night. I don't wake up throughout the night. And you know what happened? My pain started getting better. Now, I still have some circles here, but I used to have some really deep circles. I mean, really, really bad. You can go back and look at some of my videos, and it'll look like I just pulled an all-nighter. And And although I still have some circles, I had the bags that went with them. The bags have kind of receded. Some of this is just age, and some of it is just, you know, genetics and stuff like that too. But the pain relief that has happened, and also the healing that's occurred in my body, has allowed me to also lose some weight. And so I want to make sure that you know that sleep is very important for curing or putting your fibromyalgia into remission. So that is one thing. If you don't have sleep apnea, you want to make sure that you do take time for sleep and respect that you do need sleep. There's going to be some people out there, these gurus, that say, hey, you only need about 4 hours of sleep a night. Well, let me tell you, your body needs to heal. And the healing process happens while you sleep. And it takes an awful lot of energy to heal. So if you're not sleeping and you're not allowing your body to heal, you're going to continue to break it down. So that's what I wanted to share with you, and I hope that you get some value from it. So if you think that you're having some problems with sleep, please go ask for a sleep study. It's very easy to do. They give you this little thing that goes across your forehead. You sleep with it one night. It's amazing how they can tell how many times you wake up, how many times you get up to go run to the bathroom or whatever the case is, and how many times you've stopped breathing. And they'll determine if you need to have sleep therapy. So anyway, I hope that helps you.
Well, I'm monitoring my sleep. The Fitbit. And I giggle when I say this because we had a little to do about the Fitbit yesterday. But I've been monitoring my sleep, and I've on here it's really interesting because it tells you. So I'm going to be doing a night shift tonight. So like before I went to bed, I put in the time that I was going to sleep and the time that I wanted to get up at. But I've got a goal set to be sleeping at least 8 hours every night. So if I sleep over that, then it's great. Now this, the stats on this showed from last night, total time of sleep was 10 hours and 44 minutes. Okay? But
wow, that's incredible.
Yeah, then it tells you my sleep schedule was, so I went to sleep at 11:37 in the evening, and then I got up at 10:35. My sleep quality, it then tells you the quality. So 6 minutes to fall asleep, I was tired. 0 times awake, which is an achievement for me. 0 times awake, 9 times restless, and 14 minutes awake/restless. So it breaks it all down, like what you were saying with that strip. I can get that kind of information through this.
Yes.
Which is quite cool. Just having this for the sleep is so interesting to see it.
Now, the only thing that, and I think whatever you've got to use to monitor your sleep is great. The only thing, though, if you do have sleep apnea, that device will not correct that, because sleep apnea, actually it is called obstructive sleep apnea, because what it does, there's a weakness in our throat, and when we're sleeping, it actually is like choking us, and it sucks in and it obstructs our airway. So that's a very dangerous thing. So you can actually, I used to sleep longer than I do now because I was so damn exhausted from waking up so many times in the evening. So I love the idea of having a monitor, but if there's any question of a sleep disorder, you might as well rule that out, especially if you're dealing with fibromyalgia, because those run hand in hand. That's part of that out of balance component. So Amanda, that's great that you got some sleep, because I know that I was kind of chastising you for not sleeping enough. So bravo, my friend,
I think
bravo.
the night before I had like, what was it, 2 hours and
Hours. I'm
30
going,
minutes or
no,
something.
no, you gotta sleep.
And I still went away and had a swim and everything and went for an exercise.
Exactly, exactly. So,
Okay, so what is next on the agenda?
you want to talk about that clip converter? That was pretty cool, and I wanted to, maybe we jump into a little bit of marketing right now for those who are a little tired on this health stuff. And we'll get back to a couple more health suggest or advice here, and talk a little bit about that clip converter. I think that was pretty cool, especially if maybe it's not about marketing you want to hear about. This is good for anything else that you want to go ahead and take a clip off of and create an MP3. So Amanda, take that away, please.
Yeah, so I, on a marketing side of things, I'll start with repurposing your content. Okay, so you want to always be repurposing your content. You want to make the most of everything you're creating. So this live feed that we are doing right now, what I'll do once we're finished this live feed, I will then download the video from Facebook. I will store it onto my desktop. I will then, if I want to do any editing, but I prefer just to leave it natural, to be honest. I'll then upload it to YouTube. And then from YouTube, once that's uploaded, I will then download the MP3, sorry. I'll download the MP3, so that's the audio sound. And then I'll take that audio from it, and then I can put it on SoundCloud. So you've got like a kind of podcast channel as well. So you're sharing the content everywhere. Now, on a non-marketing side of things, where this came in very, very helpful for me was when my granddad was in hospital. He's no longer with us now, but when he was in hospital, he wasn't able to, he had a stroke and stuff, and he wasn't able to read. He found it difficult to read. Now, being sat in a hospital for a long time, there was nothing to do. So what I did was I got a little MP3 device, and then I went on to, he likes his like mystery stuff. So I went onto YouTube and I looked for Sherlock Holmes audios. And then I downloaded the MP3 instead of going out and spending an absolute fortune on audios, because you'll be spending a fortune on each one. So I downloaded a whole series of them and then just stuck them onto the MP3. So it's really useful, and it's so easy to use, so easy. I think I've actually done a video tutorial on this. I think I'm sure I did. If not, you can send us a private message or send us a message on this feed and ask us to create one for you. Be happy to create a tutorial video to teach you how to use in whatever method you want to use it for. But it's really, really useful to use Clip Converter for repurposing content or downloading stuff. As well, if you wanted to download stuff and you were going to be going traveling and you've got no internet, you can just download the stuff off of YouTube. Just download the stuff and save it onto your computer and watch the stuff from your computer, and you don't need the internet for that, which is really good as well.
That's great, Amanda. I mean, that's huge, because you can go ahead and take almost anything that you find on YouTube and go ahead and make an audio clip out of it and put it on your iPod or whatever. And
I must say, while we're on that subject, to be very careful if you're downloading things. Be careful how you're uploading them. You don't get into trouble for copyright. because everything has a code in it. Although you think, even if you try and change it, it has a code linked to it, okay? So you might think, oh, what I'll do is I'll download it and then I'll put it into a movie clip converter and I'll change it around a bit and everything, make it look different. There's still a code linked to that. You can't get rid of the coding in it. And so when it uploads to Facebook, Facebook is big on protecting people's content. So when the minute you try, I tested this, guys, okay? I've tested this. So I know what happens when you do this. I've had to test it out. So I downloaded something and then I tried to upload it to Facebook, and I had changed a little bit on purpose to see what happened. And I uploaded it and Facebook sent me a message and says it was copyright and they had to remove it. They didn't even let it go up at all. And that was just a motivational video.
They'll let you use it for personal use though, right?
Yeah, you can download it and use it for yourself.
Sure.
But if you're then going to upload it and share it with other people, that's where you get into trouble. So be very careful what you're doing with that.
Well, as they say, big brother and big sister are always watching. There's eyes in the sky.
Definitely. Yeah, you can't get away with anything these days.
No, that's very good. Thanks for clarifying that. That is a huge piece of information. And I think it might be helpful for some of the things that are further along in the agenda that we're going to share here. You would also talk the other day about being wise with your money and avoid these get-rich-quick business schemes. I know we see them every day, and for those marketers that are on here, you know what we're talking about. You know, we call them the spam groups, and within the spam groups, and not so often, and well, we see them not in the spam groups too, where people are pitch, you know, join here and you'll make, you know, so much money like right away, and people flashing a wad of cash. And so Amanda, why don't you go ahead and take it away? I know you have some very passionate thoughts about that.
I don't know where to start. My brain just stopped on me.
There's a fibro moment right there.
There's so many angles to take this from that my head just kind of went into a momentary spin. So there's lots of things with this. So here's one angle. I have been speaking to people for the last year, especially the same people. And they've been jumping from business to business to business to business, okay? Now, I've been watching them very closely on what they're doing, and every now and again, I will send them a message and say, how's things going? What are you doing now? And they'll tell me, and then they'll say, I'm like, how's it going? Oh, it's really good. Now, I will say, what kind of results are you getting? What is it you're looking for? The latest one, I asked somebody what is it you're looking for? What's your passion? And they came up with the basic kind of answer that everybody comes up with. And I says to him, I think I sent you something to do with this the other day, Christy, but you were having an off day as well, and you didn't quite get what I was meaning. He says, I want to make, it was pretty much, I want to make money and I want to empower the masses. Okay. And I then says to him that, you know, but what's your passion? What's driving you? What is it that's, so he then, what about you? I says his answer was too vague. You know, I said his answer was too vague. I'm not going to say any names because I'm not naming anybody. But his answer was too vague. He wasn't giving enough, and he says, "Well, I'm not going to give off too much because I don't want to give too much." And I was like, "But still, you need to give a bit more than what you're doing, you know." And I kind of held that authority. Sometimes you have to, you know. And I was like, "Okay." He asked me then, what's your passion? What's your mission? So I sent him some voice messages and rattled off my passion and my desire and what I aim for, my mission statement. And when I had finished, he was like, wow, I haven't even had time to listen to all of them, all of this, the audios. And the reason why I could rattle off all of that is because I've learned how to not just look for something to make money. Okay. I've learned, we are using an education and training platform which teaches us how to use our passion to build what drives us, and we can earn an income by using those. We can build something that's bigger than just making some bucks. We can build something that gets us a spark in us, you know, that desires us to push forward. Something that people are going to want to follow, something that people are going to connect with. And connecting is so important. It's so important to connect with people, you know, not just sending a message. I sent out, you says about the like money claims, okay? So I sent out a message that some people might mistake for that. However, I don't know if you've seen the post I did yesterday, Christy. It says, if I told you you could recruit 5 people into your business and make $500, would you be interested in more information? So the way I did that, I didn't do any kind of claims as such and say, oh, in a certain amount of time you're going to make this money. I gave them some facts and asked if that would be of interest. So that's attraction marketing, but you're not sorry, bullshitting people. You know, you're speaking real with them, you know. So what I then did automatically, this person's going to have, I had somebody say, yeah, you know, so I sent them a message. Now, this person's going to expect what every single person does, messages them a link or a video. What I did was I sent them a message and a voice message and says, I'd really like to get to know you. The way I do things is I want to get to know more about you. I want to know what is you're doing, and see what best what I can offer you can help you in what you're doing. So could we schedule a time for a call? So later on this evening, I'll be having a call with this person. Which is the right way to do things. Don't just throw a link at people, you know, because they'll have a look at the link, they won't quite understand stuff, and you're not there in front of them to answer the questions that they're questioning at that time of watching this video.
It's true. You know, and a couple things that you said that kind of came to mind is that the first thing that this gentleman said to you was, he mentioned himself first rather than asking you what was, or about empowering you. He wanted to make money first and then empower people. And that struck me as being, that's not the way to do this. See, when you're out there providing tremendous value and wanting to really be helpful to people and providing solutions to the needs that people have, then people are going to want to either buy your product or buy your service or consult with you. That's how it works. And that's how you have staying power. As long as you always have what's in it for them rather than what's in it for you, you will never, ever have a problem about figuring out how to make a living, because it's always being servant-based. And this get-rich quick scheme thing, there's this gentleman I've been following. He's a very young fella, and I call him a kid because he's a kid to me. He's young enough to be my son. but I love his spirit and his work. But one of the things that I see, and I hope that one day he will be willing to listen to what I have to say. He's a great marketer in that he has the attraction marketing type of commentary. You know, he has the right headlines and all of that, but he goes on to like ClickBank and JV Zoo, and he's going ahead and he's picking the top seller type of stuff, and he's promoting that stuff every day. And eventually people are just going to see, you know, his pages come up, and it's like, oh, what has he got today? It's almost like going down to your grocer and seeing that, oh, today I've got red apples on sale, tomorrow I've got green apples, and you're going to get sick of having apples. I mean, we all get sick of, you know, a certain thing when we see it all the time. And that is going to be a problem for him down the road. And he's making some good money, but he is a young marketer, and that will eventually fizzle out down the road unless he goes ahead and transitions to value-based marketing. And I think that he will, because
proper connecting properly with people.
And I think he will, because when I listen to some of his Facebook Lives, he talks about that in his mindset training, but I haven't quite seen him apply that to his marketing yet. So I'm hoping that he does, because he does know it, but he hasn't shown it yet. So anyway, I hope that you folks got some value from that, because it's out there. There are thousands of opportunities out there, and some of them are just as quick. I mean, there's something that somebody has cooked up on their computer and might go out and sell for $7, $8, and it might be one quick little thing. I showed Amanda this thing the other day, and it was a quick little tool that was like $7, and it was really a tool, but you're not going to get rich off of it. But it was promoted as something that if you sell this, you're going to make hundreds of dollars. Well, you can, but you've got to incorporate it with other things. And so we just want to make sure that you understand that there's a big picture behind all of this. And the big picture is attraction marketing. It is being the full enchilada. It is being value-based. It's being the humble servant. It's being the problem solver. So we could go on and talk about this for hours and hours, and we'll share about this every week, I'm sure. So we should probably move on. Huh, Amanda?
Yeah, sure. What's next on our list?
Well, let's go right into the next one. It's right on the same topic. Beware of those phony baloney offering courses to cure fibromyalgia. I know that you had some passion behind this one. You want to take that one away? Because I know it dovetails right into what we just talked about.
Yeah, so there are lots of people that are... I'm getting feedback. Is that coming from your side?
I'm not sure.
I could hear my own voice. I want you to hear my voice, but I think that's it. That's it. It's fine now. Okay, yeah. So there are a lot of products and services that are being sold out there. I get hundreds of people every week saying, "You've got fibromyalgia." Cha-ching! You know, I would like to say, I had someone earlier on, like I connected with them, he automatically says, "You've got fibromyalgia," and I was like, "Yes." And automatically in my head, I was like, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. He says, my wife has fibromyalgia, and she has been taking this great product that has pretty much cured her. And I says, I don't buy products. I don't buy the products and stuff. I goes, I'm actually medication free. I don't need to go out and buy the products. I says, to be honest, if I bought every single product that somebody offers me, I wouldn't be able to invest in my business. I wouldn't be able to do anything because my bank balance would be completely empty, because there is so many things out there. There's so many things that say you can cure your fibromyalgia can be cured by taking this potion or lotion. It's just crazy the amount of stuff out there. I know there was one thing that people need to be careful with. I know there's some people that are genuinely wanting to help their friend, okay, or help their loved one. However, we are marketers, so we kind of see behind the scenes of what goes on, okay? We see what's going on. So a person that's in network marketing might be looking for different products and stuff to sell. So they will try and find their target market to sell a product, okay? So it's pretty much preying on the weak, you know? They have a need for this. So somebody with fibromyalgia, they are full of trauma, like pain, and they are desperately seeking out a cure, okay, which are perfect targets for emptying your bank balance in their direction, okay? So there'll be things like some tablets or some drinks or whatever, you know, but just be really careful. And to be honest, I haven't been having to go out and buy all these things, and I'm medication free. I've educated myself in what I'm eating. I've worked on this, you know, like really, because it starts up here as well. You need to have that mindset in place to want to help yourself first. When you really desperately want to help yourself, and in fact, when you get past the desperate, it's the desperation that gets us into trouble. The thinking with the head, the desperation, it is really what gets us into trouble, because we're so desperate at the beginning to find a cure that we then end up.
Well, I want to make sure that those who've experienced a physical trauma, excuse me, that physical pain that happens, you know, when you've broken a bone or you've injured a nerve, especially if it might have been something along your spine, the spinal canal. That is some major pain that can cause some lingering leg pain or arm pain to where your limb doesn't work right anymore. And that is some nasty pain that any kind of pain reliever just doesn't work. It might lessen the pain. So what you're saying is right, Amanda, and it takes a long time to get the mental side of, or the mental toughness to work against that pain. And there's almost like a cycle that needs to happen. You almost need to go through all of the pain remedies before you get sick of being on the pain remedies, before you say the hell with this stuff, it's not working, and finally get to the point to where you're saying, okay, I have got to try something else. And by that time, I think that the body has just learned to have adapted to some of that nerve pain that's there. And so that is real. And you're right. Some of it, you know, because with fibromyalgia, some of it could be caused from emotional trauma that causes the pain, or it can be started from a physical trauma that brings out the emotional pain because of those two components. So I just wanted to be respectful of that part, of those people that have. Yes,
I spoke a little bit about this last week,
yes,
about how that comes about. So I'll just quickly do this again. Last week I spoke a little bit about, you know, you could have been injured, car crash, like Christy was in a car crash. It could be emotional trauma, whether you've had childhood trauma, whether you've been raped, or whether any kind of trauma, that any trauma at all. You could lose a loved one, and when you get that trauma, it sticks with the body, and it sends signals to the brain. And this is why the mindset and working on your mindset is so important, because it stays up here, which then makes it suffer everywhere else until you've sorted up here as well. And that's why mindset work is so important. I mean, really important in your recovery.
That's why these health and wellness groups are so important now. You know, if you're ever offered one, don't poo-poo them. You know, I poo-pooed them when they were first offered to me. I said, oh, I don't want to sit around with a bunch of people talking about their aches and pains. You know, I had to get over myself, you know, and really humble myself, because finally, when I was feeling so bad, I dragged myself in there, and I learned a lot. And I had to really just kind of put my head down and say, what an ass I was, you know, and really start learning how to be compassionate. And
ego speak.
And over the years, you know, I had lost that compassionate side of myself, you know, because as you know, sometimes we become a hard ass. And I had developed a hard ass side of my personality, and that was not.
We get like a really thick skin, you know. We become really thick skin, and we kind of lose. You go through a stage of losing your identity.
Well, yeah, I think it's always there, but you know, just some things that we're just dealing with. You know, difficult people, maybe difficult work situations. You know, it forces us to have to toughen up, buck up, or whatever. And it's, for me, that's not part of my being. I've always been a very generous, giving person, and I've always been someone who's been very nurturing. And I've been in environments where that's not been respected, and I've had to develop a hard ass attitude, and that has come back to hurt me in big ways. And so going into these groups have been very helpful to look at and see how other people have experienced some things, and it has just kind of softened my heart up a lot to be able to recognize when people are hurting and respect where they're at their point of recovery. But anyway, should we move on to the next topic, or have you have any more to add to that?
I just want to, while people are on, before anybody leaves, I just want to quickly reach out to people and ask, because we'll say this at the end of the feed as well. I want to ask, are there any male fibromyalgia entrepreneurs out there? Do you know anybody that is in online business, that's an entrepreneur, and is male and has chronic fatigue and fibromyalgia? Because we'd very much like to connect with some male warriors too, and possibly have somebody on as a guest on the show on one Friday. I think because there's so many women that are coming out and speaking about it. Now I know Morgan Freeman, good old Morgan Freeman, is coming out, and he speaks about his challenges with fibromyalgia. So it's not something to be ashamed of. If any men feel like they need to hold it in, you know, go and read Morgan Freeman's story. You know, like if you're into movies, you'll love him. But I mean, looking into his story should give you the boost, being a male. But I do think that there needs to be more men, it recognised more with men as well. I do think that's really important.
I agree. Yeah, I think it said like 90% of women have come out about fibromyalgia, but they know that that number is not correct because men do not normally report about the pain that they're having because men need to be tough. It's not, they need to be and it's and men have pain. They have chronic pain too, and they just may have fibromyalgia. So thank you for bringing that out. Really appreciate that. This is something that we talked about the other day, and this is why I slipped this in here, Amanda, because I think it completes the discussion we were having the other day after we had a little thought from the throne, so to speak. We were talking about stress and why you prevent it, why you should prevent it, and then I wanted to add the 4 body types because they go together. And I wanted to add that part because when we talked the other day, Amanda, I didn't have the full information, so I did a little research and I wanted to bring it out today. So you excited to hear about that? Let me share this because this was huge for me, and it made a big difference for me in just the last several months with my own recovery. So first of all, stress has a lot to do with some of the things, not only emotional stress, but we have environmental stress. We have the stress of our bodies needing to heal. So we have stress from food that we eat. We get stress from not enough sleep. So there are so many stressors that we have. We have stresses from people that just bug the shit out of us. Sorry for saying that.
Okay, carry on. No airs and graces here.
Okay, so you know what I'm talking about. But let's talk about the body types because I think the body type will help identify where you're at in terms of your imbalance. Because with health, and with fibromyalgia in particular, and I think this is a good time to remind everybody, we're not doctors here. What we're saying to you is just experiences from our own pathways of dealing with fibromyalgia, first learning about the diagnosis, learning about what it is, accepting our own diagnosis, and then dealing with it. So whatever we share here with you today, take the information and go talk to your health professional about it.
We are experts. We are experts of living with it.
In our own body. But I might not be the expert for you, or you, or you. But I'm the expert for me. And I'm still learning my expertise. So having said that, let's go ahead and carry on. There are 4 different body types. Okay? And when you go to the doctor, you do all these tests and they say that you're healthy, but you can't sleep at night. You're exhausted. You crave everything. You have blood sugar problems. The problem in healthcare right now, they look at you and they separate your entire body and they don't look at the entire body. Is that right? Mm-hmm. They've got a thyroid doctor. They've got a spine doctor. They've got an endocrinologist who looks at, your thyroid. You've got you've got, you know what I'm talking about.
You've got a nutritionist, which is really crazy that the doctors only go for like 1 nutrition course. You're healed with chemicals and medication rather than what really heals us is natural foods,
Yeah, and the nutritionists are poorly trained because here in the United States, they hand out pamphlets that have logos of the Dairy Farmers Association and the USDA and all of this, and it's just like, for me personally, it's garbage because every nutritionist except for one that I've dealt with in the last 25 years through the medical doctor has had poor information, and they have really steered me and my family in the wrong direction, and I just think it's reprehensible. And I can get off into the story that about the 300-pound nutritionists, and no disrespect to any of you who might be nutritionists who weigh 300 pounds, but when you guys came into my hospital room and brought me my very first meal after I did not eat for 14 days after nearly dying in your hospital, and you brought me a Shasta Cola, a bowl of Jell-O, and it was a full sugar meal, and you, the nutritionist, is telling me that this was a nutritious meal, there's something very wrong. So anyway, as I digress, yes, that was for real.
That's crazy.
So anyway, you go around thinking you're healthy, and you might hear, well, all you need to do is lose a little weight and those problems will go away. Well, how in the hell do you lose weight when you've tried to lose weight? You go out and you pound yourself to death. You go out and you pound. You might go do a little Shan Ti. You might do, 15,000 steps. You go and do the stair climber. I mean, you row for hours. I mean, it's just craziness. But that's not true. The problem with the inability to lose weight is a symptom, and the reason is because you're unhealthy. And you have to get your health back before you can lose weight. Weight is a symptom rather than a problem. And when you look at weight as being a symptom, it can help put everything in a better perspective. So the weight is a protective mechanism, if you will. As a person who develops more stress, they start holding on to more energy called potential energy, which is the fat or visceral fat, which was the word. I had a fibro fog moment yesterday when we were talking about the brown fat, and that's called visceral fat. And people are not fat, they just have too much potential energy stored on their body. So the 4 body types are, you have the thyroid type, you have the liver type, you have the ovary type, and then you have the adrenal type. Okay, there's 4 different body types. So the first body type is the thyroid type. And this is the kind of person that has weight all over their body. Okay, they have experienced hair loss. They have loose hanging skin. Their outside eyebrows are falling out. You ever see those people where half their eyebrows are gone? They have dry skin, thinning of the hair, and they crave alcohol, breads, pancakes, waffles, and crackers. They have little nutrition and they crave carbs like crazy. However, nutrients fix the cravings, but not the carbs. They feel sluggish, they have cold feet, and they're tired no matter how much sleep they get, and they may feel a little apathetic or a little depressed. Now, this body type cannot absorb vitamins, so they'll take all these supplements, but they really don't do any different with their overall health. Okay, so that's the thyroid type. And I have a sluggish thyroid, and I am getting better. In fact, as I started identifying with my body type and started working on my health rather than my weight, my thyroid has improved, and I'm taking in nutrients, and a lot of the symptoms I just described have nearly gone away. The next body type, which I share also, is the adrenal body type, because this was one stressed out mama right here. Okay. This body type has a saggy belly and might have a buffalo hump and a round face. They think they need to do more sit-ups, but a million sit-ups won't get rid of the belly because it's a hormone that's causing it, and it's called cortisol. Cortisol,
I think that might be.
Cortisol is a stress hormone, and what's happening, it's a destructive hormone. It's the fight or flight hormone, and it's eating up the protein in the legs and in the butt, and it's putting it in the stomach as fat. Now, this body type should not be exercising because they're in a stress mode. Now, that was me. I was losing my muscle tone. Now, the adrenal type is the adrenal gland is a stress gland that's on top of the kidneys, and pumps out cortisol, and the adrenal body type will crave chocolate, salt, crunchy, cheesy things. They'll have sinus problems, allergies, and they can't absorb calcium, so they get tight calves and tight shoulders. So where does that calcium go? It goes to the top of the knees as arthritis or fibromyalgia.
That's so me. That just made so much sense.
They have old injuries that are stiff, and their flexibility goes down and posture will goes down. Now, I told you about, Amanda, I shared with you about my dad, how he has a benign tumor on top of his adrenal glands.
Yep.
And so the doctors are not worried about him because he does not have Addison's disease. And to have Addison's, you must have only 2% of the population must have it for you to even get the attention of the doctor. But the naturopath had said, well, because your father has had, trauma since he was a kid, there's no doubt in the reason why he has this problem, and probably the reason why he has vascular dementia is because of the adrenal fatigue, and that's why he grew a benign tumor, because he pumped out so much cortisol that his adrenal glands just do not work anymore. It's very sad. And so he has all of these symptoms. He craves chocolate, crunchy, cheesy things. And, and being nearly 80 years old for him, it's irreversible. We just can't fix this. So, and he has those arthritis problems. He has all of those things that I described, and his allergies are just terrible. So the next type is the ovary body type. The ovary body type is where the weight is in the pouch below the belly. It's below the belly button, and a saddlebag, which means weight in the hips and the thighs. This body type will have ovarian issues, menstrual problems, and hot flashes. They will crave creamy things like milk products like ice cream, cream cheese, and yogurt because their body needs calcium. Now, if you're an adrenal type and you can't absorb calcium, and you are an ovary type and you're craving calcium, you're really, really having problems. It's a real major health problem.
Can you be a mix of two?
You can be a mix of all four.
Because that's making sense to me.
A lot of people are a mix of at least two of these. See, I'm an adrenal, thyroid, and ovary type. I'm a little less ovary type because I've already gone into menopause. Actually, I'm a little bit of this one too. Lastly is the liver body type. The liver will have a pot belly or a beer belly. Beer destroys the liver, so don't drink. The liver is leaking into the belly. It usually will also look like a protruding belly, and they will have right shoulder pain. So if you ever have pain and it's on the right side of your body, and it doesn't matter if it's on your shoulder or down on your right toe, on your right foot, that, in fact, I was surprised to learn that your digestive system is so much more sensitive than your spinal column, that you can have pain that runs. So if you're having pain coming from your liver, it can go down all the way to your foot. So if it's on the right side, be suspicious of your digestive system. So the liver type will get grouchy in the morning, and they'll get up an hour before the alarm clock goes off. They cannot feel refreshed, and they'll also have skin issues like itchy skin and digestive issues like bloating. They crave fried foods of any kind. They should not be on protein diets. Sometimes their backs are real stiff and they have yellowish color in the corner of their eyes. They will most likely have bad breath. And that's it. So
no, I think my breath's okay.
How do you fix that stuff? Well, I'm not going to go into that. I want to refer you to 2 doctors that you can find on the internet, and I've talked about this before, and it is, I'm going to write this up here, Dr. Eric Berg or Dr. Jason Fung, okay, and they're both, are both on YouTube. Okay. All right, so here it is. A lady that is in one of our groups, she came in from the doctor and she says, I am now a diabetic. I can't have watermelon anymore. What kind of fruit can I have in the morning?
Can I just say you've done Dr. Eric. It's a C, guys. Eric.
Oh, okay. Let me fix that.
It's fine. It's fine. I'm just letting the guys know.
Okay. All right. Great. Thank you for that. Let me hide that, and I will write it again. Dr. Eric.
That's okay.
Or Dr. Jason Fung. That's the perfectionist in me. Also a fibromyalgia trait. Anyway, when she came in, rather than people tell
Oh, we've stalled. Don't know what's happened here. Let's see. Hi guys, sorry about that.
Sorry, folks. So sorry about that. Anyway, we'll edit that part out. Anyway,
editing.
We're almost done here, and thank you for hanging with us. This has been a very long live, and but you know, the 4 body types are very important, and there's a way to fix all of this. And so I want you to go to Dr. Eric Berg or Jason Fung. They both talk about this. They're not in cahoots with each other. Jason Fung is an MD. Dr. Eric Berg is a doctor of chiropractic, but they both specialize in body chemistry. Jason Fung is an endocrinologist. Dr. Berg, body physiology, exercise physiology. He's been doing this for like 30 years, and he's made a difference in my life and the lives of thousands of others people. And I know for sure, I don't know what Jason Fung's schedule is, but Eric Berg does a Facebook Live every Friday. It's a call-in show, and it's wealth of information, and he's got wonderful YouTube videos. So that's my plug for Eric Berg. I'm not associated with him in any way, so there's no fee, you know, there's no payola coming this way. But I wanted to share how to fix these problems. It's a thing called intermittent fasting. So I'm not going to tell you how to eat. You're going to need to get that information from them. And it's going to be counter to what typically your doctor tells you to do. This is what I did to solve my problems. First of all, I was a little high on my cholesterol, about a year ago or so. And so what my doctor wanted to do, I was just a little bit over, I was like 220 on my cholesterol, my overall cholesterol, and they want you under 200. So that's the first time I was ever that high. And so they go, do you want a little statin? I go, no way, no statin drug for me. I go, I'll fix it on my own. So I didn't really do anything different, and then I started this following Dr. Berg, and he said something very profound. And I had already been frying my eggs and stuff like that for many, many months, but I made a couple changes. Rather than frying my eggs in olive oil, I started frying my eggs in coconut oil, because that's a medium chain trans fatty acid, which is very good for you. And I eat 3 fried eggs every day. I eat a couple of slices of non-preservative, non-nitrate bacon.
What about hemp oil?
I'm not sure. I guess it's okay. I like the coconut oil. I think hemp oil should be okay, as long as it's a medium chain. An MCT should be okay, and as long as it doesn't burn under high temperature. So that make sure about that too, because coconut oil can take a higher temperature. So you want to make sure you're not creating new chemicals by burning the oil. All right, so I eat that in the morning, and I do my kale shake. We talked about that last week, and then there's also a kale shake video up on this page. So I do that in the morning, and then I eat my last meal within an 8-hour window of time. So that's called intermittent fasting. My last meal consists of a little bit of protein. So you don't need a lot of protein, guys. We get too much protein in our diet, and if you are an unhealthy person, you have too much protein going in there anyway, and it's going to go sit somewhere else in your body and probably cause you some pain. So I'm not so sure that we need protein shakes and all of that kind of stuff. I don't need it for me. I'm not sure about you, okay? But for me, I needed less protein than what I was taking. The answer for me is I needed more quality fats. So I was a little leery about adding bacon to my diet because it was completely out of my diet. I don't eat cheese just for a matter of fact. It kind of grosses me out. But cheese is actually okay to eat. And so I should probably add cheese if I can get myself around to not being grossed out about it. But anyway, as I digress. I started adding the bacon. So my last meal of the day is a huge Seinfeld-like salad, an Elaine type of salad, a big salad with lots of vegetables, radishes, cucumbers. I'll go for almost the whole avocado, at least a half of avocado in there, a little bit more bacon strip. I have bell peppers in there. Lots of olives. I love olives, and olives are really good for you. I chicken, and as a salad dressing, I use salsa. I do not use any other type of salad dressing. That works for me. It fills me up, and because I've cured my liver problem. I used to have a fatty liver. I don't think I have it anymore, and the only way I'll find out is to have a CAT scan, and I'm not interested in that, but I'm not having any symptoms of a fatty liver anymore, so I'm assuming it's been corrected. So I digest that very well.
I'm a big fan of squeezing lemon over my salads.
Perfect, perfect, perfect.
Lovely. So refreshing.
Yes. Now, folks, there are supplements that us different body types might need to help us with our health. For me, as a thyroid type, I do take a sea kelp supplement in the morning. I did add potassium to my supplementation regime. I did move on to taking Topamax to help with my nerve pain because I do get severe debilitating migraines. That is something I just have not been able to cure any other way so far. So I did start Topamax, and because of that, I have to take a very good multivitamin. So even though I'm eating very, very healthy foods, I needed to take that multivitamin to make sure I get a good range of multivitamins, so I don't get this craziness reaction from the Topamax. I do take a B complex. I take a vitamin D supplement because it was low, and it is for most people, about 90, especially fibro types, and that's about it. And now intermittent fasting, get back to that. You eat within a short period of time, and if you're really a stubborn weight loss type, to get into ketosis, which is what you're trying to do, you may even have to work into getting into eating within a 4 to 5 hour window. Because if you are suffering from an adrenal fatigue, your body needs to rest, and digestion is difficult on your body. So you've got to give it time to rest. You've got to quit the ground. Okay. Pounding it on the ground and give it so intervals, but you got to eat in a 4 hour window. You must get enough calories within that period of time, because you get enough calories in your diet to starvation, and then your body will also work against your weight or to protect you. You don't want to do that either. Okay? Women need 100 days, so if you got it, and no time, go for it. It's not going to hurt you, but it's going to give us to go ahead and nutrient, energy supply the rest of the day. Jump into this from today to tomorrow. No. Working into this, you start the eating plan, you start eating healthy, then you start working into the 8-hour regimen, then you try. If you want to go snack or time, then go back to the 8-hour time because you haven't had enough, or maybe you're still getting whatever. You're not ready for the 4-hour time. The weight was supposed to come up, down process.
I think we're having problems with your signal, Christy, so I don't know if all of that came through. I know there was like bits of cut out on this side, so I think we might be best to call it a day today and follow on the other stuff next week. Just in case, we're having these tech issues. It's just a day for technology to try our patience.
Just with this heat wave we've had with cell phone, but maybe we could pick it up next week. It's such an important topic, and it will be helpful to intermittent fasting, and this eating plan has food. It actually almost acts like a mood stabilizer. So if anybody's taken any kind of medication to stabilize their mood, it almost automatically does that for you. Pick that up next week on the other side. Oh, we have somebody tuning in, so I think our broadcast is working. But anyway, the broadcast to see you guys. Hi, hope you can join us next week with this. We have problems, and we'll wrap this up next week or revisit this issue because it's very, very important.
Yes.
So we want to thank all of you who have joined us today. We're going to say bye-bye, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you, everybody.
Okay.
Bye.
Thank you for being patient.